Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm doing a sound check. Christian, can you hear me?
Perfecto,
We
perfecto.
can hear you. Perfect. Hello, Luis.
Very good. So, welcome everybody for this to this information session. We're going to explain what this program FIT is all about. You're joining us from different parts of the world. I know we have people in America, in Europe, in China, other parts of Asia, and perhaps the Middle East. So, welcome everybody to this session. I'm going to run through it through some a presentation that I put together, and then I will be happy to take questions from everybody. The reason this program exists is because, as everybody knows, technology is changing everything, and in particular, it's changing everything in the financial sector. Business models are changing, which leads to different skill sets being required in the industry, and things are moving fast enough so that it's very difficult to keep up with the requirements of the financial sector. So we created this program for that reason. This program aims to bring together finance, risk management, asset management, the traditional areas of interest in the financial sector, together with the new developments in technology, digitization, and so on. And as we see over time, this component, this technical component, this technology component, artificial intelligence is gaining more and more weight, which is creating challenges for the education systems that we have. In terms of the skill sets which are required these days, data analytics, information processes, technology design, these are things that they didn't even exist a couple of decades ago, or now they are front and central to the financial sector. And so this is putting a lot of stress on the education systems, and this is why this program was created. This is our answer. Our answer is the Certificate in Finance, Innovation and Technology, created by universities and financial institutions. This has been a joint venture of individuals such as myself in universities. We lead some of the best quantitative programs in the world, in Toronto, in Switzerland, in Germany, in the United States. And the objective is to speed up the development of knowledge in finance, innovation, and technology to provide a successful move into a career in the most advanced topics in the financial sector. So our vision is that we needed a program which is a postgraduate program, one that will be able to train students who are graduating from universities, professionals who graduated and already working in the industry, and to do that in a flexible manner, in a way that anybody from anywhere in the world can participate. All of this is delivered through a virtual campus that we've developed that I will be presenting to you today. So the important thing that I want to highlight is the partnership nature of this program. Started by some of us that have legs both in the industry as well as in universities, and working with universities and with companies for the benefit of the participants, the people who participate in our program. The curriculum that we cover is a curriculum which is structured into 3 levels. Level 1 is the basic level, where we try to homogenize all the people who participate, who come from different walks of life. And every level is divided into 2 modules. The first module is always focused on technology and quantitative analysis, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all those things. And the module 2 is focused on the business aspects of what we cover. All of the things that have to do with the industry, whether it's the banking industry, whether it's the insurance industry, asset management industry, payment systems, consulting, all of that. So level 1 is the basic one, and you can see there that there is a foundations of digital finance module. This is the technology one, where we cover everything from Python programming to optimization at a basic level. Module 2 moves into the business aspects of what we do, including things such as ethical and professional standards and a commercial business case, which is done with one of our company sponsors. Module level 2 also has 2 modules. One is a more advanced version of technology, and module 2 is a more advanced version of what's happening in the industry, getting into more advanced topics such as risk management. And level 3 follows the same trend, bringing digital technologies into module 1, and then in module 2, addressing the new trends in financial engineering. Okay. Now, at this point, I need to make a very important clarification, which is this is the full program that we present. It spans 3 levels, each of which consists of roughly 6 months. We budget about 8 hours of participation per person and business cases. There is a short version of this aimed at people that want to have perhaps a rapid progression into a graduate program in a university, and that's faster. That's on over 7 weeks altogether. Okay, but today I'm addressing the full-fledged program, the one that we've been running already for a year. Everything that I'm talking about here has been running for just over 1 year, and we are getting into cohort number 3 at this time. Okay, so we have now a successful group of participants, about 30 or so, who have already passed through this program. So there is a shorter version of this program, and that I'm happy to address that with questions. In terms of our partner network, we have lecturers from a number of universities. I have some of them here. We have more, but this will give you an idea. Of course, I am from the University of Toronto. We have other people from the University of Toronto. We also have people from the Technical University of Munich, ETH Zurich, Australian National University. York University is not mentioned here, but it's also one of the members of our partner network. And on the industry partner network, we have also some names, others which are also not included here, but we have Allianz, Global Investors, UBS, BlackRock, Talanx Insurance Group, KPMG, Define, and others. So this is to give you an idea of the type of partnership that was created to bring this program to you. And in terms of the educational partner network, first and foremost, we have the Fields Institute for Research in Mathematical Sciences. Some of you are probably familiar with the Fields Institute. Most of you probably know that there's no Nobel Prize for Mathematics. There's the Fields Medal for Mathematics. So we've partnered with the Fields Institute, who is the one that issues the certification, because we are dealing with an international program. Each country has a limitation as to the type of degrees they can give. So we've moved to a certificate program, which allows us to run an international program and not linked to the regulatory constraints of traditional university degrees. So partnering with the Fields Institute allows us to have an international degree program. Very good. In terms of the benefits that our partners enjoy, they have access to highly qualified employees with the right skill set that will help shape the future of the financial sector. They enjoy, they work with us very closely in curriculum design. So this program has been designed in partnership with them, and we've been able to work with them to increase the employee satisfaction and their access to talent. Okay, so this is in terms of the partner benefits. The participants that are in our program, they typically have a strong analytical, mathematical, and problem-solving skills. They may come from either the business side of things or the technology side of things, but they typically enjoy a strong mathematical foundation, which is what will allow them to grow and thrive in a highly technical aspect of the financial sector. It may have education in computer science, mathematics, engineering, but some people have degrees in other areas, economics, geology, for example. One of our students has a degree in geology. But they typically come with a sharp knowledge of technology. They have been exposed to some extent to data and the challenges that arise from there, and that works very well with our program and the courses that we have in data science, in machine learning, and so on. And in terms of where our participants they typically either come from or go to, here I have a short list. The list is much longer. As I mentioned, we have had now just over 30 people go through the program. But I'll give you an idea. We have people that come from data engineering who want to understand the business side of things, and that allows them to grow into bigger roles as they progress through the ranks at their organization. Other people, they come from finance, which would be operations and control, and that gives me a very good grasp of the technology tools that exist for them to either to manage bigger teams or for themselves to be aware of what a business can do these days with enhanced technology tools. When it comes to asset management, we have people that come from the portfolio management area. We have some people whose job is to build investment portfolios. And through this program, they have access to some of the latest techniques that exist in applying technology to portfolio construction. We have people that come from treasury, risk management, of course, and we even have some participants that come from the customer experience side of things. People who may be sales analysts and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is a summary of the business divisions that we have in the program. The program itself has a website, which you can see there. It's also in the announcement that was circulated. You can go there. This can give you an idea of what we are doing here in the program. So I direct you to the website. We aim to create a new standard for the financial services industry. This is and this is something that we do through an online campus where participants have access to all the materials, which include manuals, include problem sets, include presentations, include videos, both live lectures as well as recorded lectures. The idea is to provide participants with enough assets so that they can progress through the program in a weekly rhythm. We have a weekly rhythm that brings participants into what we believe is an efficient use of their time, so that in the time that's available to them, which again is about 6 months for the long program or 7 weeks for the short one, they can go through this participation efficiently. Okay, this is some snapshots of how the online campus works. You can log into the courses which are of interest to you, and each of those courses comes with their full sets of assets. We still have direct communication with instructors, me and others, and the idea is to provide a rich experience to the people that participate in the program. And this is some of us who make the program work for you. So this is my summary of what I wanted to discuss. Perhaps there are some questions which I'm happy to address. You can address them either by unmuting yourself and asking them live, or you can write them in the chat, and then I'll read them for you and give you the answer. I thank you for your participation here, and now the floor is open for questions.
Hi, thank you for this informative session. My question is that what is the level of coding aptitude which you are looking from the participants of this program? Do you have any assumptions, or do you
No.
take the participant from some level to some level in coding?
Yes, so we don't have any assumptions. What we do at the very beginning of it, we have what we call a Python bootcamp. And this is where I can go back there. And there's a Python bootcamp at the beginning of the program, which is where everybody's brought to the same level. You can see that there. You follow my mouse. It's a lab project, Python bootcamp. So this is everybody will acquire Python programming. In level 2, we introduce some additional programming languages that may be of interest. For example, one of the courses is using R. The advantage of R is that it's even easier to get it up and running, but Python is the main one. But we have no assumptions. We teach that as part of the program.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Hi, and just a quick question from me. So what is the mode of teaching going to be entirely? Is it purely based online and we kind of teach ourselves in our own time, kind of on demand, or are there going to be some live lectures or some group work?
Good question. So what we have is a combination so that we can help people better. There is a live lecture every week, what we call a masterclass, which is in level 2 is 2 hours long. In level 2 is 1.5 hours long, and in level 3 is 1 hour long. So that's a live lecture, which is people can participate. We do it so that it works in all time zones, and that is recorded. So people who cannot attend, or people who attended can go back. They oftentimes do, and they can go through that live lecture again. That live lecture, somehow the summary, is the pinnacle of the week. In addition to that, what we have is we have recorded videos that explain some of the concepts in a monographic manner. The videos, they tend to last 5 to 10 minutes, and they address some of the important topics. It's easier to learn when someone is explaining it to you, when a human is explaining that to you. That's what we believe. So the videos are available, but then there's also support material, which is in the form of a book that we wrote, which is delivered in chapters every week. We also have slides, lecture notes that address the topics in a similar way as they are done in the masterclass. The idea is that with all of those, some people, they prefer the video, some people prefer the reading, some people do everything. And the objective is to give a choice to participants to follow whatever works for them, and allow them to maintain that weekly rhythm where you progress towards completion of the program.
Makes sense. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another question.
Hi, Michael. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Can you please elaborate a bit more about the commercial business case?
Yes. So
in what you want?
Yeah. So this is a program which is part academic, but it's fundamentally driven by business. So what we do in each level is at the end of the level, we invite one of our sponsors. In the case of the first cohort, it was Allianz Global Investors. They volunteered to give a commercial case. So what they did is they gave an example of a challenge. This is going to be published and announced very shortly, so I can tell you in this case was the question that they posed was how does different climate risk scenarios affect the stock market? Okay, it is the question that every asset manager is asking themselves. When you're making investment decisions which are perhaps 10, 20, 30 years into the future, you need to take into account how developments in the world will affect you. And climate change is one which is being considered right now. So they brought us that discussion. They brought a specialist to address the class on that. And then the participants, they got into groups and they developed solutions to that problem. Now we call this commercial because this is what businesses are interested in. This is not a textbook. This is not a homework problem or a textbook exercise. This is a question that really, in a certain sense, has no answer. No one really knows what the answer is. But by having the class, the participants work together with the advice of an industry leader, that puts you at the forefront of what the industry is looking for. Okay, the ability to go from whatever people are doing in their job to dealing with the problems, that the challenges that businesses are considering right now, that gives you a perspective which is very unique. And in this case, we're all very proud of the conclusions that were obtained. Some of them are going to be published, so you will see them in social media and in publications. That's what we mean by a commercial case. It's an example. Is that clear?
Yes, sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it was extremely interesting, and I think everybody had a lot of fun. I had fun watching. The participants had fun thinking about it, and I think the industry participants who give this program, they're always very curious to see what people think and what people can contribute to that, right? So I have Eduardo here with a question.
Hi, Luis. Many thanks for your presentation. It was very clear.
Thank you.
Quite interesting. I just have a twofold question. For someone that works currently in the investment banking industry, how do you think this full-time job and the course in terms of feasibility, do you think it could be synergetic? And my second question would be in some products within the investment banking industry, such as M&A, leverage finance, where all these tools are still not embedded in the system, how do you think this will evolve in the near future? Do you think this will be somewhat synergetic?
Yes, very good question. So I'll start with the first one. See, if you're in investment banking, you have no time. Okay, time is the most precious commodity to most people in the industry, and this is one of the reasons that drove us to do this. So we budgeted 8 hours per week, thinking that there is people. Some people are able to get the 8 hours per week in the weekend. Some people, they prefer to budget, 1 hour per day, and then. So we give that flexibility to the people who are very busy or even extremely busy, as you sound to be. That's how we adapt the program, so that people who are busy, they can still do this, and frankly, hopefully provide some sort of a counterpoint to the main type of activity that you do. You're rushing to get things done. You have a clock running against you. And what we wanted to do is to give through the virtual campus, to give you access to something that will help you at your leisure whenever you have that, say, 1 hour per day of available time. When it comes to the disruption that's happening in the industry, my belief is that large language models they are already beginning to change many things. The restrictions that large language models have right now is that their data input is very limited. The data inputs of most large language models, like ChatGPT, for example, is still restricted to what's available, say, on the open internet. But once these models, they can be trained on proprietary data, then we're going to start to see tremendous changes. And the legal system, for example, is going to thrive tremendously with this. And when it comes to investment banking in particular, M&A and things like that, the availability of data is going to change that sector. The fact that now you don't have to you don't have to have a human read through pages and pages of disclosure statements, audit reports, and this and that. The fact that a machine can do that and give it to you in summarized form is going to enhance the productivity of all professionals. It's not going to change the profession to the point that no one is going to be needed. No, I think it's the opposite. It's going to make the better people best, and is going to create bigger and bigger distinctions between the people who can ask the right questions, because the answers will be given to you very likely by a technology system. So our belief is that if you understand how these systems work in our, already in level 1, we have a course on machine learning that already touches on large language models, which are developed further into level 2. What we want to do is we want to empower the professionals who are in the program to understand how these systems work. We all know how to use ChatGPT, but you want to understand how that works behind the scenes, because when you end up having your own private large language model working on your own proprietary database, everything is going to change. And that is, for example, one of the areas that I think is going to be most disruptive, and we want to address that in this program by showing to people how this works. Alex Sokolov, one of the leading experts on large language models, is teaching these courses, for example. So I think that I gave you a very long answer because the question was very good. So I don't know if
that's very clear, and I appreciate the elaborated answer.
Very good. Much. Thank you. Yes, Ivy, hi.
Yes. So for the commercial business case, would that be a group, group case, kind of like team? They work on the team, or each individual work on their own?
No, it's done as a group. It's done as a group because this is a very good question. It's done as a group because the commercial business case is difficult, and we want people to bring their different skill sets to collaborate and find the answer. Okay, for example, in the one that we did a few months ago, where you're trying to understand the impact of climate change on the stock market, people who have a data perspective or a business perspective or even a portfolio management and trading perspective, they look at the problem differently. So by bringing them into teams, they become stronger. Okay, and some people, they come from the from the insurance sector. Some people come from the asset management sector. And again, bringing different perspectives into this provides stronger solutions. This is not a homework exercise that you're supposed to do on your own. That's not the intent. The intent is that you get a projection of what you've learned and what the people with you have done with the help of the person from industry assisting to do something which is very innovative.
Okay, thank you, Luis.
Very good, thank you. If there are no more questions, I want to thank everybody for being here. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me directly, feel free to do that. I'm very easy to find on the internet. Just write my name and you'll find me. Send me an email. I'll be happy to talk to you. So have a very good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are. And it was a pleasure being here with you today.